Good afternoon, Ohio State fans. Welcome back. It's your boy Buckeye Bob after a 1-week hiatus. Welcome into another show of Ohio State Postgame Live. Last week, I had the inevitable task of trying to sit through that Ohio State Northwestern game. And let me tell you something, guys. I'm glad that they had some weather today in Columbus, because Ohio State got bashed a little bit about not being able to play in the weather. That weather last week was the worst weather I have ever sat in a game at. Now, I'm 6'5", 270 pounds, and when I had the wind actually push me and move me, it felt like two hands were on my back. That just tells you how bad it was. The pictures on TV do not do it any justice whatsoever, which happened in Northwestern last week. So they got out of there with a win. I'm fine with that. That's fantastic. So we moved on to this week after Ohio State has heard a lot of bashing all week about you struggled with Northwestern, blah, blah, blah. You can't run the ball. You can't do this. Guys dropping passes. Well, guess what? Little bit of a rejuvenation today. And I'm glad, like I said, they had a little inclement weather at the shoe today. A little bit of freezing rain, it looked like, a little bit of snow coming down. So I was glad to see it. So Ohio State came in today 40-point favorites, and they actually get the cover. It's pretty impressive. They were able to pull it out with the cover and win today 56-14. And great job by them on both sides of the ball. We're going to cover it all here while we do our thing. But as always, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Remember to join the Discord at Talk College Football all the time. Sign up at patreon.com. Search MarkRogersTV. You're always welcome to give as well if you like, if you enjoy what we're doing here. So feel free to also throw a little bit of pizza money at myself and at the channel. So today, Ohio State comes in 9-0 in first place in the East, tied with our boys up north. And so we wanted to see what they were going to do today. So Indiana comes in struggling a bit. Got run out of their own building last week against Penn State. So, but Indiana always sometimes has a way of keeping things interesting with Ohio State. So I'm really, really excited on what Ohio State did today. And I'm going to tell you something else too, people. You got to understand something. Teams that play at home are completely different teams, okay? It is a bear to go on the road to play in conference, regardless of where you're at or who you are. Very rarely do you run other teams out of their own building. So that's why, as we look forward down the road here to the Michigan game, I love Ohio State's chances only due to the fact that they're playing in Columbus. So just remember that as we finish out the year here, that playing at home is a huge difference for sure. So start of the game, Ohio State or Indiana wins the toss and they defer, and they kick off to Ohio State. And again, I got to shake my head here because the first play from scrimmage, what's Ohio State do? They run that little bubble screen out to the left, which we saw how many times against Penn State, didn't work. We saw it up at Northwestern, it didn't work only because of how bad the weather was. And then today, the very first play from scrimmage, we tried again. And what happens? We miss a block out on the end, and we're behind the sticks right out of the gate. So very frustrating right there. They can't get a first down out of the drive. They got to go 3 and out, so they got to punt it to Indiana. Now, nice thing about what Indiana did is I love how fast Indiana tries to play. Only problem with that is when you're playing that fast and you continually go 3 and out, it certainly puts your defense at a disadvantage. And that is a theme that we saw throughout the entire game today. So Indiana, they come out very fast. We get them off the field, 3 and out, good pass break up to start, and they got to go back and punt it back to Ohio State. So Ohio State now takes over, and they finally get that offense going the way we'd like to see. They go 6 plays, 65 yards. Williams gashing them up on the right side, running. Harrison on a nice little reverse, used his blocks real well to make a nice play down inside the 5. And then it did go to third down, but once again, our boy Egbuka with the touchdown, and Ohio State goes up 7-0. Only 2:19 there, so just the way you want to start it, okay, after a 3 and out. So, again, you guys have always heard me say, if you've listened to these broadcasts before, I keep saying it, after a touchdown, can we get the other team to go 3 and out? Again, Ohio State's defense sets up perfect, and they go and they get a 3 and out. There's a nice sack, half a sack apiece on that next drive by Teron Vincent and our boy JT Tuimoloau with half a sack there. They get Indiana to go 3 and out. They go right back to Ohio State, and now you can see Ohio State. They're getting excited. We're getting 3 and outs on defense. We're getting the ball back in good field position, and we're starting to take plays, and the offense is starting to get revved up. Just what you want to see right now. So Ohio State takes over. They go 8 plays, 78 yards. It's only 3.5 minutes. Big plays on that drive. There's an Xavier Johnson, a pitch and a run to Xavier Johnson. Nice play. Williams again with hard running. And Egbuka with a great block out there as well on Xavier's pitch and run. But Dallin Hayden, who we're going to probably have to start seeing a lot of Dallin Hayden as a true freshman. But the great play is that the play that Hayden scores on, it's a 13-yard run. But when you watch the game again, watch the offensive left side. Okay, they just caved the entire Indiana defense down. Hayden with a great read on the zone play. He's able to bounce right outside, basically almost go untouched into the end zone, which is a great start. Ohio State now starting to hit on all cylinders, starting to feel good about themselves, especially after last week's game at Northwestern, where they had to deal with the wind and the rain. Like I said, I was there. It was unbelievable. 25 to 35 mile an hour sustained winds. I mean, just imagine sticking a fan and putting it in your face as fast as it can go. And that's what it was without the gusts of wind. So again, Ohio State feeling good right now. Now that they get out of their own way, and their offense is starting to hum here. Just what you want to see right now. 14-0. Back to Indiana goes the kickoff, and what happens there? They fumble the snap, little shotgun snap. It's fumbled. Now they're behind the sticks, and exactly what you want. Get them behind the sticks, and on third down, they try to run their own wide receiver screen. And I can't remember who it was. It might have been Cam Brown, Lathan Ransom, or whoever. They blew that play up. They absolutely blew that wide receiver screen up. And it gets Ohio State the ball right back. Just again, while that offense is starting to roll, what do? With the running game already gashing Indiana in the first couple, the second and third drive, what do? They go play action right out of it. And Marvin Harrison, our boy, Marvitron, right down the middle. Great pass from Stroud. Hits Harrison right there in stride. One play, 58 yards, touchdown. And now it is 21-0, and the route is on, right? Well, so what's Indiana going to do? They started with Blazak out there at quarterback. So Tom Allen finally says, you know what, we got to try something different here. So they bring in Williams to come in. Looks like a dual threat quarterback. And what's he do? He runs a nice little zone read, picks up 15 or 16 yards on one play. And then they catch Ohio State napping a little bit. And they hit Ohio State right down the middle with a nice long play, about a 47-yard play down the field. Nice little post pattern right down the middle. And credit to Indiana, they make the play. So right there, now Indiana says, hey, we're going to try to get back into this right now. So Ohio State does a great job at getting Indiana to third down and goal. And what do they end up doing? They get a great matchup out on the outside with their tight end. And I think it was Barner, I think his name was. And it's a third and goal. just ran a jump ball to him. You got 6'6" going against 6 foot or so. It just like, as an older brother playing against your little brother who's a lot smaller than you, he just snatched it right off the top of, I believe, it's Court Brown's helmet. So credit to them. They made the play. Williams comes in, ice cold, leads him right on, makes a great zone read run for a big first down, connects on a play down the field, and then he makes the play, and the tight end makes a play. Because on fourth down, they're probably going to kick the field goal because it would have been 4th and goal from there. But, again, credit to them. You got 2 guys making plays, and it's 21-7. So that's how the first quarter ends, 21-7. Ohio State, as you could see, they were feeling it a little bit offensively, and you just wanted to see it continue. So Ohio State gets the ball back, and what do? They go right down. They're marching again. How about the catch by Marvin Harrison again? It's unbelievable how good this kid is going to be. But it's a back shoulder throw that Stroud throws, and actually Marvin Harrison ends up having to, totally turn around and is able to go up behind him and catch that ball, which gave him a nice big first down because that was on 3rd down. But the killer on this drive was Ohio State, another great play. They had Julian Fleming right down the middle of the field, and Stroud put it right between the numbers, hit him right here on the 4, hit him right there, and he dropped it. And I'll talk about Fleming a little bit later because, as you guys know, listening to my podcast before here, I like Julian Fleming. I'm happy for him, what he's been doing. So I'll touch base on that a little bit later. So because of that, Ohio State ends up having a punt. Our boy Jesse Mirko, though, comes in. What's he do? You guys know I love Jesse Mirko. Jim Tress always says it. The punt is one of the most important games in football. And when you have a guy like Jesse Mirko that can routinely put teams inside their own 10-yard line, it just gives the defense that much more of an advantage because now your playbook becomes a lot smaller. You don't want to make a mistake back there when your back's against the goalpost. So he pins them on the 10-yard line, and Ohio State able to get that 3 and out. And man, oh man, their punter just I couldn't understand what he was doing, but he was used a lot today. Poor punt by Indiana. Ohio State takes over in great position. And it doesn't take long, once again. 3 plays, and our boy Mayan Williams goes 48 yards for a touchdown. It looked like Luke Whippler, the center, may have got away with a hold, but for the most part, the referees were not calling penalties today. I thought there was a lot of contact on some pass plays that weren't called. I thought there were some holds both ways that weren't called, and they just kind of let it go ahead and play out. But Mayan Williams with a nice run goes 48 yards, and it's 28-7. And again, Ohio State's just starting to roll. They got the running game going after they were crucified all week last week, and so it was great to see. So they go back. Indiana then gets the kickoff, and what a great play. They go 3 and out again, but Tommy Eichenberg, man, oh man, what a great play he made. He was on the defensive left side, and he was able to just read the play. It looked like he was going to be able to pick up a first down, but he was able to fire right through. The lineman had no chance to block him. He was able to get back and tackle the back for a loss in the backfield. And, again, you get another 3 and out. And, again, Ohio State, this is what you want to see now. You want to see them just keep moving, keep methodically moving. And so Ohio State, they go on another nice drive. Marvin Harrison with one of the best catches you'll see this year. He's had a lot. I know. But the play he made on the sideline where it looked like his left foot was going to touch out of bounds, but he was able to get his right foot down just in bounds before his left foot hit out of bounds for a completed pass. So another just tremendous play by him. The kid is going to be a stud. The thought that he's only a true sophomore is just unbelievable. But, again, he has the genes and he has the work ethic, and this is what he gets for the hard work when you're seeing what you see out of him. So Ohio State ends up marching down the field after that great play by Harrison, and they've got they end up with a 4th and short. Now, I'm hoping that this is a play that they're going to look at for the Michigan game, okay? Because they ran an inside handoff to Mitch Rossi on 4th and about 1.5 yards. All right, now you're saying, well, Bob, he should, our offensive line should be able to pick that up or whatever. Okay, I get you sometime. Yes, it should. They should, but I don't agree with handing it off to Mitch Rossi. But if you watch the game again, I want you to watch on the inside handoff. Dallin Hayden was coming to the outside. I think that's going to be a fake handoff and have Stroud go to the outside, because the outside, you had Dallin Hayden, one IU Hoosier out there. All he has to do is make the block. Stroud has a walk-in touchdown, or at least a first down. So I'm hoping that play right there is just setting something up down the road for we all know who, okay? So Ohio State ends up, because they go 3 and out, okay, now or now they get turned over on downs. Indiana's got 2 timeouts left, so they're going to see what they can do if they can get points just before the half. So they do want a nice drive. Again, Williams makes a nice pass down the field. We're in cover 2, I believe, and the receiver, great read by him. He puts it right on the receiver for a nice long gain. But, again, what I loved is our defensive line stepped up. 2 sacks to end the half. The first sack happened. It looked like an absolute kitchen sink blitz right there. They brought everybody. Joel Klatt mentioned it. It was cover 0. There were no safeties or anything, which meant everybody out there guarding the receiver was out there on an island by themselves. They sent the house. They were able to get a sack right there, and which basically took Indiana out of field goal range because, again, remember, Indiana was getting the kickoff to start the second half. So they're looking and they're thinking, hey, let's get points here, and then we're going to get the second half kickoff too. So the first sack basically takes them out of field goal range, and then to end the half, Jack Sawyer comes up big, and he lays the wood to Williams for a sack, and Ohio State gets out of the half unscathed, where Indiana could have got points, and it's 28-7 at the half. So, again, I thought Ohio State missed a couple plays offensively. It could have very easily been 35-7 or so. Might have been 38-7 maybe even. But, again, we'll take a 21-point lead, 28 first-half points. I'll take it. First-half stats, C.J. Stroud goes 9-17 for 187, 2 touchdowns. Maya Williams, 15 carries, 147 yards and a touchdown. And Marvin Harrison, 5 catches for 105 and a touchdown. Those are all first-half stats, obviously. Ohio State was 5-9 on third down. They did miss their first fourth down of the year. Ohio State was 100% coming into the game on fourth down conversions. But, again, I hope that's something that they're setting up down the road when they play that team up north with that play call that they use there. Ohio State goes for 377 in the first half. So, again, 377 first half yards, people, with an offense that was ridiculed all week is quite great in my eyes. Defensively, they hold Indiana. Dexter Williams comes in. He only goes 5 of 10, 88 yards, and a touchdown in the first half. And he was also the leading ball carrier for Indiana, 8 carries for 28 yards. And Indiana was only 2 of 9 on third down. So, again, I always talk about that. Ohio State defensively, can you get off the field on third down? They did a tremendous job here. 2 of 9 in that first half. They go total yards, only 147 total yards. So, again, great job across the board, both offensively and defensively by the Buckeyes today in that first half. With the elements, again, like I said, people talk, again, elements. I'm glad they had a little bit of wetness out there, some sleet, some freezing rain. So, again, great job on the first half. Before I go over to the second half, I'm going to just touch base with some comments here and see. I know Steve had left a comment. Buckeye running game back in a big way. Yep, no doubt, especially in that first half. Obviously, we're going to talk about some things in the lows with Mayan Williams, of course. Just another bad break there, but we will touch base on that a little bit later. My man Jeremiah, I love Jeremiah, always loving it. Rejuvenation for Ohio State. Welcome back, Buckeye Bob. Thank you, sir. Absolutely. Again, we got one more game to go. You just got to keep it going, as he says here. Let's keep the momentum and get another win next week. You go on the road next week. Maryland, they are right now playing Penn State, so it'll be interesting to see how they play against Penn State, what they do there. But then again, remember, teams are always a different team at home. Just remember that, okay? Let's see here. Yes, I agree. Jay Barnes, they run so much better going north and south instead of those stretch runs. They do so much. O-line can use their size much more effectively. Yeah, Joel Klatt kind of mentioned that too. Ohio State does have one of the biggest offensive lines in the country, and they're a lot better going north and south with Stroud under center or in that pistol and just handing the ball off and getting downfield quickly, getting downhill quickly. That's what seems to work a lot better for them. Teams, and I'm not just saying Ohio State. There's other teams out there. I know Indiana is a subpar team right now, but they have some speed on that side of the ball too, defensively, and they can run guys down just like other teams can. So it doesn't matter that we're Ohio State and we have great players and we'll just outrun people. The other team on the other side got players too, and they can get after you, and they've got some fast players too that can run our guys down as well. So, but I do agree with Jay Barnes about getting the ball north and south instead of running east and west. So, yep, I agree with this too. We're going to talk about this more. Hayden and X-Man, Xavier Johnson, they can handle the load. O-line played great. X-Man is like Curtis Samuel. I don't know about that, but you'll hear me talk about Xavier a little bit down the road here as I do my highs and lows as well. So, yes, but Dallin Hayden, listen, man, you got to love the kid. True freshman, again, doing a great job filling in when he has to. So, let's see what else we got here. You are correct, Troy. Now that you just read that, you're right. They did miss a fourth down last week, and I remember sitting in the stands, soaking wet, rain blown sideways. The rain felt like bee stings against my eyes in that second quarter. Bee stings against my cheek too when it was hitting me. They did miss that fourth down. So Troy, good call by you. You're exactly right. So I agree with that. Okay. Keep the comments coming. Remember, guys, we love the comments. It obviously makes the show a little bit better for me as well. So keep them coming as we keep going. So Ohio State to start the second half, they're going to have to give the ball back to Indiana. And Indiana, what do? They came out. They called a fair catch on the kickoff. First play from scrimmage. I love the little play call that they ran. There's that little double inside handoff run. And they bust a nice one. Now, Eichenberg had it. Tommy Eichenberg had it diagnosed, but he just missed the tackle. That was the problem, though. He was the last line of defense. If he doesn't make the tackle, it turns into a big play, which it did. So credit Indiana. Good execution on that play. I love it, though. Love the double inside handoff. Like a reverse, he goes out the back door. They pick up about 45 yards on the play. And then what do they do on the next play? They run a reverse pat, or they run a reverse flea flicker, okay? Hand it off, flips it to the receiver. He flips it back to the running back. But here's what I love to see, guys. Our defense stuck with their keys, and it was covered. It was absolutely covered. Last year, that's probably a touchdown. 2 years ago, it's probably a touchdown, what we've dealt with defensively the last couple of years. So I was so pleased to see the defense be able to stay with their keys and read their keys. And then guess what? It gets them in a third down. Ohio State gets into a fourth down, and it's a turnover on downs. Now, again, you could say that tight end who came across the formation, he was open, but guess what? Zach Harrison's right there. He gets his hands up. The kid's 6'6". He got a wingspan like a 747. He gets it up in the air. Now you've got a quarterback that's not super experienced with touch like that. What's he do? Throws it out of bounds. So again, great job by the defense. Great job, everybody holding their water, reading their keys, and forcing Indiana and that young quarterback to make the play to get the first down. And that's exactly what you want right there. And what do? Because we forced him to try to make that pass, he throws it incomplete. Ohio State gets off the field. Great job by Ohio State. So Ohio State then, what happens there? They get the ball. Now you're thinking to yourself, all right, here we go. Nice stop on fourth down. Let's go. Well, 2 plays, they get a third and short, and Ohio State gets clipped for a loss. And again, frustrating. Stroud did keep it, but give credit to Indiana. They crashed. The safety came crashing down. That's something they'll see on film that I'm sure they'll take a look at hitting teams with that, maybe on that third and short instead of Stroud. Once he pulls it, now maybe have the tight end release on a little wide delay, Stover release. You can dump it right over their heads for a big play. So Ohio State has to punt it away. And what do? After a first down by Indiana, and finally, our special teams step up. Love it. Lathan Ransom probably played one of the best games of his young career. He comes in untouched with a block punt, and Ohio State's able to recover it. Xavier Johnson with the recovery after it gets kicked around. We do have the World Cup coming up right here in another week or so. So they're playing with soccer with the little pigskin on the field there. But Xavier Johnson's able to pick it up, get knocked down to 2-yard line. And so now the Buckeyes are cooking again. And it doesn't take long. 2 plays, 2 yards. I love the play call there. Again, it gives more film for teams to be worried about. Okay? They ran one play. Hayden just gets stopped around inside the 1-yard line. Now you're thinking, we're going to run it again. They came out in the same exact formation. It looked like the same play, but only this time Stroud, he keeps it, takes it out of Hayden's gut, and there's that wide delay that I was just talking about where Stover then releases, throws the defender down. He releases, wide open, easy pitch and catch. You are not even more wide open in your backyard. The bush is closer than what Cade Stover was. So that's what I'm talking about right there when you start seeing the evolution of that offense and where you can start making teams start to have to consider everything you'll do down there inside that red zone. So Stover with the 1-yard TD. Ohio State goes to 35-7. And any life that Indiana may have had, especially from that first drive, was basically all snuffed out after the block punt, and then especially when Ohio State then sticks it in the end zone. So Indiana takes back over. They go 3-and-out again. Great play by Cam Brown. If you guys remember, it was a nice pass down that left sideline. Again, there was contact there. I told you earlier, the refs kind of were just letting guys play. It went both ways. I think Ohio State got away with some contact on receivers. I thought Indiana got away with some contact on receivers. But as long as it's consistent like that with the officials, I'm fine with that. That was fine. So a little bit of contact by Brown, but guess what? Gets his left hand in there. Great play by him with the pass breakup, and you got to love it. 3-and-out after that touchdown, and Ohio State gets the ball back, and it does not take long. It's 3 plays, 52 yards. You got Egbuka. Boy, I tell you what, guys, did Egbuka get lit up on that pass down the middle. They ran one run play, then they hit Egbuka right down the post. Great play by Stroud, and Egbuka great job after the contact because he got popped. For a second, I thought there might have been a flag for targeting, but after watching it, no flag. Buka hangs on to it, and then the next play, our boy Cade Stover again. I tell you what, you got to love Cade Stover, especially after he catches the ball. Excuse me. Another little delay route to him, little bootleg action by Stover by Stroud. He hits Stover. Stover makes one or two guys miss. Over the top of a guy, keeps all his body parts off the field. He's able to reach out with that football across the end line for another touchdown. Tremendous job by Cade Stover. A lot of receivers had rough days last week, and again, I told you, you can't imagine how bad the conditions were last week. So, but there were times when balls did hit guys' hands last week that they didn't make plays. So, but it was great to see Stover get into it again. And Ohio State's up 42-7. Another 3-and-out by Indiana. Ohio State after first down, they got to punt it away. Another 3-and-out by Indiana. And this is where I love it. Xavier Johnson comes in, okay. Miyan Williams is out with the injury. Xavier Johnson comes in, and he takes a handoff from Stroud. And absolutely outstanding play. There are so many things to discuss on this one play, okay? The blocking at the point where Xavier then breaks contain and gets upfield. But when you guys watch it again, if you do, and Joe Klatt did bring it up, but I actually screamed myself, who in the world just had that one block? Well, there's two blocks downfield. Watch the blocking of Julian Fleming, and then, of course, Marvin Harrison's block that also basically was able to spring Xavier Johnson the last 15 to 18 yards for that touchdown. So that's the one thing I love about our receivers, and Urban Meyer always preached it. Big plays in the run game happen when your receivers block, and that's exactly what you saw right there. That's Brian Hartline, excellent coaching as well. Again, how many times you see receivers downfield or receivers just watch other games, see how well receivers block. You got to love how Ohio State's receivers block downfield and for each other. It's outstanding. And when you have that type of blocking, this is what happens right here. You get a 71-yard touchdown run by Xavier Johnson. So tremendous job. So Ohio State, what do they do next? They get that 3-and-out, and then with the backups in, Ohio State muffs a punt. Scarsdale, I think his name was back. He muffed the first one. He was able to get on it the first time. The second one actually leads to a turnover, and it leads to a touchdown for Indiana. There's confusion. If you see, Still Chambers was flying out there trying to communicate. The ball snapped, and it's a good little ball fake by Williams out there in the flat, and their inside receiver goes right up the seams, and it's wide open for a touchdown. Again, all stuff that you can look at on film and be aware of. It's good teaching moments because so much good came out of today's game on both sides of the ball. But that's one play right there where there was some confusion. It'll be a good learning point, good teaching point for Jim Knowles. And so, yeah, that's what you want to see right there. So basically after that, Ohio State, they're able to put it away. They go 6 plays, 75 yards. Harrison with another nice catch. Hayden with big run, a couple big plays. And guys, I cannot stress this enough, and I'll talk more about it. But Ohio State scores on an 8-yard touchdown pass to Cameron Babb, and for all intents and purposes, that ended the scoring 56-14. So go over the final stats here from the game. Basically Indiana was not able to do anything else after that, but to cover the stats. C.J. Stroud goes 17 of 28 for 297 and 5 touchdowns. Miyan Williams, obviously injured, but prior to him going out, 15 carries for 147. That's what he had at the half. And Dallin Hayden, goes for 102 yards on 19 carries. So I loved it that he showed he could tote it when he needs to. So kudos to him. Obviously, Xavier Johnson, one carry, gets a 71-yard touchdown run. So receiving, Marvin Harrison, another outstanding day. You got to love it with him. 7 catches for 135 and a touchdown. Xavier Johnson, 2 catches for 47 yards. Cade Stover, 3 for 45 and the 2 touchdowns. And again, unbelievable balance by Ohio State today. They go 322 passing yards. Kyle McCord did come in and completed a couple passes for some extra yardage. 340 yards rushing, 662 yards, boys and girls, if you're joining us tonight. 662 total yards. They go 7 of 14 on third down. We'll take 50% on third downs all day long. And they had 7.9 yards, basically 8 yards a carry. Okay, fantastic job by everybody on the O-line. And again, after being ridiculed all week, Ohio State came out today and they took care of business on that offensive line and rushing for 340 yards today at 8 yards a clip. So fantastic job there. Indiana, on the other hand, only 9 of 24, passing 107 yards, 2 touchdowns between Williams and Beslak. Williams was their leading rusher as well, 16 carries for 46 yards, and they only had 269 total yards. So another great job by the defense. And my favorite stat of them all, 3 of 17 on third down. They had 10, remember this, 10 3-and-outs, okay? You can't give Ohio State 10 3-and-outs with the offense that they have and expect to even be in the game. And because of that, Ohio State was able to actually cover the line today, which was quite crazy for me because I thought 40 points was a lot today. But they were able to get the cover. So we'll go over some of the highs and the lows that I saw today. Of course, the number one low on the list, and it's in no particular order, but obviously as Ohio State fans, you have to sit there. Mine Williams, the injury to him. Again, I'm not a doctor, and I don't want to speculate, but to me, it looked like possibly one of them high ankle sprains, which is bad. High ankle sprains, those are 5 and 6 week things right there. You see them all the time in the NFL. Those are hard to come back from. It's a miserable injury. You do damage it just takes long to heal. And on a running back that relies on his cutting ability, straight line speed, that high ankle sprain is debilitating. So, tough blow right there for Ohio State. And we already know Travion Henderson is in a boot as well. Again, could he have played today? Possibly. But again, Ohio State keeps that stuff close to the vest. But you've got your number 1 and number 2 running backs right now, both in boots. So next week, I don't know what Ohio State will want to do. Do they want to bring Travion Henderson back, or they want to just be able to lean on Dallin Hayden? And another thing, Chip Trainin was supposed to play today and help out in some of those carries. He got dinged up in practice and was a game-time decision, didn't play today. So all in all, Ohio State running back situation, yeah, it's Ohio State, but you still got guys that you're going to need to count on down the stretch when you're talking about playing that team up north. And if you advance into the playoffs, you're going to see a lot better teams than obviously Indiana. My number 2 low is, listen, I've been on the kid. I've been giving him praise all year. And Julian Fleming, I've been so happy what he's done so far. But last week, he had several drops last week. You can say what you want about the weather, but there were balls that C.J. Stroud put on him last week. And then the one today, you just can't afford to drop that pass today after Indiana just scored on you. So Stroud put it again right between the breastplate right here on the 4. He's got to make that catch, and he did. He came back, got another ball, made a first down. But again, Julian Fleming, I've praised you all year so far, and now you've hit the number 2 spot on the lows this week after the last 2 weeks. But I think in the long run, he will be fine. I'm not going to worry about it. But obviously, in bigger games, you can't afford to drop passes that are put right on the numbers to you. My third low will be the short yardage again by Ohio State. There were a few times that the short yardage, again, they came up short on probably 2 or 3 different occasions. So, again, C.J. Stroud has kept it a few more times. He kept it a few more times today. Again, that will make teams have to honor him as a runner. So I'll accept it now for down the road where it could certainly benefit Ohio State in bigger games. Instead of DNs just crashing down and tackling the running back, now you got to worry about him pulling it out because he showed it now for 2 straight games. So, but again, the short yardages, again, Ohio State came up short a few times on short yardages where, just run the ball straight ahead. They ought to be able to get first downs or just put them up under center, for goodness sake, take the snap and get a push and let Stroud get the first down. So those are a couple of my lows today. I only had 3 of them because there were a lot more highs. So, again, we'll start with the highs now. Number 1, the offense as a whole. Tremendous job offensively as a whole. Ohio State was able to do whatever they wanted, both running the football, throwing the football. The balance was outstanding. 322 again pass, 340 rushing. I mean, you can't get any better than that. It was basically almost a had they picked up those short yardages, you could almost say it was absolutely an absolute 10 on a scale of 1 to 10 offensively by Ohio State today. My number 2 high is Josh Fryer. You guys know DeJuan Jones, big number 79, the right tackle. He didn't play today. It was a game-time decision. Well, Josh Fryer stepped in. You never heard there wasn't one penalty. There wasn't a false start. There wasn't a hold by him or anything. You saw him downfield times, hustling down to try to get people downfield blocks. All right, great job by Josh Fryer stepping in at right tackle for DeJuan Jones today. So another good high there. And a third high for me, man, you got to love this kid. He is a Swiss Army knife, Xavier Johnson. I love what the kid does. The kid plays special teams. He's returning kickoffs. He's playing. He played quarterback before, not today, but in the past. Offensively, they got him catching passes as a receiver. They got him running the football. They got him catching the ball out of the backfield. He is Ohio State's Swiss Army knife, and I love it because, again, you heard me weeks ago. You got to love a kid like Xavier Johnson. He's a 5th-year senior. He's someone that has stuck it out his career. He didn't jump in that transfer portal to get the hell out of Ohio State. I can go play somewhere else, whatever, blah, blah, blah. No, he stayed at Ohio State because he wanted to contribute and do what he wanted to do, and he is now contributing on his team as a 5th-year senior, and you got to love it. My fourth high is the defense as a whole, okay? I think there were 5 sacks today. I can't remember off the top of my head on that number, but the defense as a whole, good job pressuring the quarterback at times. Again, you got a young kid back here, you pressure him, but he's super athletic. He's going to pick up some chunk plays when he's going to tuck in a run. But as far as a whole, I thought the defense was outstanding. Only gave up 269 total yards today. And remember, 3 of 17 on third down for Indiana. And that is outstanding because when you go 3 of 17 on third down, you keep giving Ohio State's offense the football like that, well, it's going to be a bad day for you. My fifth high of the day, and this really could have been number 1, but it doesn't get any better than this. As you guys saw, Cameron Babb with his first career Ohio State touchdown. And again, you can say what you want about it, but when you've got a kid that has battled through 4 ALC injuries, okay, he was hurt again most of the year this year, and he finally got his chance to shine, and Stroud put it right on him, Babb with the touchdown, and you could see the jubilation not just by him, but his teammates. Him being able to go down on his knees, looking to the sky, thanking God, because he knows how long of a road and how tough this has been for him. I can't be more excited for Cameron Babb. You saw his teammates. You've heard me mention it before, talk about the brotherhood, how Ohio State always talks about the brotherhood. The brotherhood was shown right there. You had multiple players coming out onto the field to congratulate him. It was such a great scene that Ohio State didn't get one. They got one delayed game, and then they had a false start on the extra point because of the excitement on that sideline and the excitement for him as a teammate and as a player. Just a tremendous human being as well. So you have to love it when you see a kid like this that has been through so much adversity come back and get his first touchdown as an Ohio State Buckeye. So those are my highs and lows. Let's take a look at some more comments here. Well, Troy, from the sound of mine and Dave, the injury is not as bad as it looked. Guess we'll find out more later. Let me tell you something. For him to not put any pressure on that ankle and on that foot when he came out, I hope you're right. Let's just say that. I hope you're right. But to me, when I saw how he got rolled up on, that just screamed high ankle sprain. And man, oh man, like I said, I hope not. I really, really hope not that it was, that it's not a long-term injury. So, Noah, you got to love it. We love Babb. You better believe it, man. Like I said, he's someone that should be looked upon as what it's like to handle adversity. It really is. I've already mentioned it, but tremendous job by Cameron Babb getting his first touchdown today. Xavier had that one of the best runs all season. His cutback was wicked. Absolutely, Temper. It was a tremendous job by him. But also, again, if you rewatch the run, watch the blockings at the point of attack right there, and then the blocks downfield by Julian Fleming and Marvin Harrison is what was the icing on the cake for the run. So that was just it right there. You better believe it. And as always, we got this right here. Beat Michigan, absolutely. We got to get through Maryland first. That's next week. Can't look ahead, and but that's always what it comes down to. And it's really, really looking like you're going to have two freight trains, both undefeated, and with a lot at stake. You're talking about the winner of the Big Ten East, the winner to go to the Big Ten Championship, and a possible playoff spot at stake. So, but without Maryland next week or beating Michigan, those things will be tough to come by. So, as we start to wrap up here a little bit, I want to talk about next week. I don't believe they've set the time yet for the Maryland game. Ohio State goes to Maryland next week. Maryland, they're a sneaky 6-3. Okay, now they're on right now against Penn State. The weather isn't great there. I already tried to get a little bit of a jump ahead on the weather down in Maryland for next week. It should be a nice day, so it doesn't look like there's going to be any rain. Be a little bit chilly. Be in the mid-40s to upper 40s. Might even hit 50 down there next week. So weather shouldn't be a problem next week for Ohio State. Ohio State, on the years that they've played Maryland, since they've joined the Big Ten, the gap has been quite large. Ohio State has really run them out of the building on several occasions that they played them. Other than the 1 year, Dwayne Haskins year down there, they actually went to overtime. They had to survive a 2-point conversion in overtime, and they won the game 52-51, if I'm not mistaken. So next week, again, you've got to go on the road. I've already said it. Teams are a lot different at home than when they go on the road. So we don't know what's going to happen right now with Ohio State with their injury situation. Where's Smith and Jigba at? He was hardly even mentioned today. We just know that he was out. How serious is the Mayan Williams injury? Does Travion Henderson come back next week and play? So we're going to have to wait and see how this plays out, and we won't know anything until next Saturday, until we get the report around. If it's a noon game, the report comes out right around 9 a.m. So we'll know more then. But again, the game against Michigan, for all intents and purposes, yes, it'll still matter, but you want to be going into that Michigan game on a high. So, again, let's see how Ohio State handles this going on the road the week before Michigan, because let's face it, guys, you know it's in the back of all their heads right now. I mean, you'd be stupid if you didn't think that. All you got to do is put the TV on. Anything you talk about college football related, it's coming down Ohio State, Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan. That's all anybody's talking about. But there's still games in between there. Michigan is now playing now. Ohio State has one game left. So, again, you got to take care of Maryland, take care of business first. Let's come out like the number 2 ranked team in the country next week. Let's leave no doubt. And then you can start preparing for the boys up north, and it'll be a great time. Thanksgiving week, can't wait. I'm off of work. I got vacation time. I took the whole week off. So, but let's get through this week. Let's see how Ohio State reacts to going on the road again. And we'll see what happens next week against Maryland, which I will be back again next week. And so, again, thank you all again for joining in to the show. Remember, again, you can always talk college football all the time. Sign up at patreon.com. Search MarkRogersTV. Thanks again for joining me. I will see you all next week, and have a great week. Until then, go Bucks.